But first, today was the last question time in Parliament for the year, and the Albanese government ends that year in good political shape. It's got a lot of things through Parliament. Its anti-corruption body, new sex harassment laws. It's even got the numbers in the Senate for its new union laws. And Anthony Albanese got a meeting last month with the Chinese dictator, and that's a first for an Australian Prime Minister, the first meeting in 6 years. Well, the Prime Minister actually today boasted of more achievements.
We said we'd get our lowest paid workers a pay rise, and we have. We said we'd give aged care workers a pay rise, and we have. We said we'd make medicines cheaper, and we have.
Now, Labor's been in power now for 6 months, and I'm not surprised it's riding high in the polls. What's more, Anthony Albanese is looking like an authentic Labor leader. He's plain speaking, he's genuine. I find him likeable. I think many others do too. And he's got huge support, of course, from a lot of the media, especially the ABC. In short, the Liberals right now are in big trouble. So Opposition Leader Peter Dutton tried to end the political year today by moving a motion to condemn the Prime Minister.
This Prime Minister looked the Australian public in the eye on 97 occasions and told them that they would get a $275 cut to their power bills. 97 times. The apology that he should give to the Australian people completely escapes him.
And it's true. Albanese did make a promise that he could never keep, and that's why I call it a lie. Even the government admits that electricity prices will instead go up 56% over the next year and a half, and I don't think that'll be the end of it. And some businesses may not survive price rises like that, and a lot of the poor won't be able to afford to heat their homes. In fact, the emergency regulator this week said there's already been a 35% increase in households struggling to pay their energy bills. And energy poverty is going to get even worse. So, even despite all that, the Liberals' attack wasn't enough, and partly because of its lack of courage. Again, the Liberals lack the guts to make Labor's broken promise actually part of a wider attack on what is causing that and obsessing the Albanese government and threatening to smash our economy. And the result, of course, just look which leader actually ended this year cheered by his troops. Here's Albanese responding to Dutton's attack.
Well, this is the weakest attempted suspension of standing orders from the weakest leadership team that we have seen in this chamber for many a decade. For many a decade. At least the Leader of the Opposition has come out from hiding. He's actually had something to say in this chamber. The last media conference the Leader of the Opposition held was on the 3rd of November. He's taken a vow of silence. I tell you this, they need to have a bit of a reset over the summer months, actually come back, be constructive, have some plans, rather than the absurd, weak opposition that we see before us today.
Now, let me tell you what was wrong with Peter Dutton's attack, and not just today, but all the way through. The attack that the Labor had promised 97 times before the election that your power prices would go down, your electricity bill would go down by $275 a year, and that ever since Labor is in Parliament has refused to say that again. Well, the reason that power prices have gone up and not down by $275 is not just because of the war in Ukraine. In fact, it's more because of the global warming policies that have helped to destroy 1/3 of our coal-fired power stations without anything cheap and reliable to replace them. And we're scheduled to lose the rest of the coal-fired power stations in the next 10 to 15 years. But the Liberals don't dare tell you that this is disastrous because the alternatives to coal just are not there. They don't dare to tell you, for instance, what Rio, the energy giant, did today, that hydrogen, the miracle new green fuel promoted by Labor as one of the solutions, will not save us. It costs an absolute fortune to make. It takes more energy than aluminium, can you believe it, and is very hard to transport. And they don't dare say that because that would then just make them look like climate deniers, and we all know that climate deniers are evil. I don't know whether you've noticed, but a lot of people treat global warming like a religion, so that the facts don't count. Even the facts that the lights could go out doesn't count for many believers because politicians keep telling them lies. Like, we got to do something or people will fry. I should actually have a regular lies watch, a 1-minute segment. The lies politicians told you just today about global warming. And for instance, here are 2 more lies today from the Energy and Climate Change Minister.
The truth is, no Australian is spared from the impact of climate change, from the cities to the regions. Not the farmer working harder and harder amid more and more destructive disasters. Not the tourism worker in Queensland, whose livelihood comes from sharing the joys of the world's greatest coral reef.
Now, it stuns me how this man, the Climate Change Minister, can say such complete falsehoods and what's more, get away with it. Our farmers have noticed our farmers have in fact this year had a record winter crop. You go back over the last decade, crops keep setting new records, not just in Australia but around the world. And tourism operators, they know that the latest report on the reef actually shows record coral cover. Yet when the Liberals' Energy Minister today, or spokesman today, replied to Chris Bowen, he didn't say, hey, Minister, you're absolutely wrong. Minister, why are you lying about the reef and the crops? Why are you so blinded by your green ideology that you cannot see the world as it really is? And instead, you put us through this pointless pain. Why didn't the Liberal spokesman say that? Well, because again, the Liberals are too scared. If they do that, they will be called skeptics and heretics and awful people. So unless the Liberals find their courage and learn to argue, they're going to get smashed on this issue and so much more. So let us hope that courage is one of the presents under their Christmas tree.